Sorry?
Oh, is it there? No. Has he got to see?
No, just because of the growth of that
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this executive meeting on Thursday, the 17th of January. Could I have apologies, please?
Yes, Chairman, the apologies are from Councillor Jeanette Clifford, Lynn Doherty and Graham Jones, and we've received apologies from Nick Carter.
Right, thank you. There's no scheduled fire alarm or lockdown test, procedure test this evening, so should an alarm sound, please follow the instructions from officers. Notice has been given by members of the public of the intention to film the public questions and the presentation of the petition. Can you please make it known if you don't want to be filmed? Right. Moving on then, please, to the minutes of the 20th of December. Can I take it that I can sign these as a true and correct record of that meeting? The item on the agenda, this item 6 on the agenda, the substantive item, the devolution of Moorside Community Centre, has been withdrawn at officer request. So this evening's meeting is purely to answer the public and member questions. And you'll note from the agenda that we have 22 public questions submitted for this meeting. In accordance with paragraph 5.12.9 of the Constitution, where questioners have more than one question, only their first question will be asked and answered. If, after all the other questions have been asked and answered, there is sufficient time, we will answer their second and third questions. By way of a reminder, we have 30 minutes set aside for public questions, in accordance with paragraph 5.12.9 of the Constitution. If we don't have sufficient time to deal with your questions, you'll receive a written response. So the questions will be asked in different order, and I think you've probably got on your seat a list of the way in which the questions will be answered. So the first question to be asked is question A, Mr. Adrian Abbs. Already formally identified as appropriate for development, primarily for housing. However, the council, acting on behalf of the local community, will not accept a development which is in itself appropriate, or which would be fundamentally harmful to important environmental issues or the future everyday use of the development and the wider area. It is therefore appropriate that the necessary time is taken to negotiate and amend the applications that have been submitted, and that is happening at an appropriate pace to ensure the most acceptable long-term outcome. Do you have a supplementary question?
Executive Group plan to share with the public their learning, corporate and in terms of governance, from the mistakes made in the unlawful deal with St Maud Road.
Councillor Bowick. if you'd like to answer that question, please.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Dr. Wintrop, for your question. Just on point of order, Leader, I'm quite happy to be filmed in my answer.
That's
So can
fine.
we reinstate the
You can do,
recording?
Councillor
Thank you.
Sorry, you don't want to be recorded?
No, I'm happy. I'm
No,
happy
no.
to be filmed, giving Dr.
Yes.
Wintrop
I
my
mean, we did
response.
make it clear at my introduction that people should let us know,
Yeah.
and I'm disappointed that we weren't told at that time. Carry on, Councillor Bowick.
Dr. Wintrop, the Council intends to create a frequently asked questions site which will be publicly available on the Council's website and where issues concerning the London Road industrial estate will be recorded.
On the council's website. Okay. Do you consider that, this is my supplementary.
Do you have a supplementary?
Do you consider that adequate in terms of reaching out to the members of the public that don't casually look at your website?
We
Yes.
do consider that adequate, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to question L, Mr. David Marsh. If you'd like to come to the lectern.
I am Councillor Jeanette Clifford. This is a very Councillor Clifford answer, so look, you'll have to bear with me. This council joins the almost unanimous welcome given to the draft quality statements from the NICE. We at West Berkshire Council have consistently worked to encourage more people to walk, cycle and use public transport. As a previous portfolio holder for the public health portfolio, I can certainly attest to that. Active and smart travel are a foundation of our current local transport plan and will be even more embedded in the next, which will explicitly reference NICE guidelines, which I hope you would support. Our action, therefore, will be to continue to do what we are already doing, reference those guidelines explicitly, which is a great deal. And as in the case for most of the country, new roads in West Berkshire are mainly in developments. So in accordance with the National Planning Policy Framework and the Council's own core strategy, we encourage sites which accommodate more sustainable transport use. Indeed, sites that cannot adequately accommodate pedestrian and cycle facilities are explicitly rejected. And here we go, Councillor Clifford, we go beyond that. We invest across the district in sustainable transport, and here are a few examples. Improved connectivity for pedestrians and cyclists between Aldermaston Wharf and Aldermaston Village. The £1 million plus leisure and commuter cycle route, linking economic centres from Newbury to Calcott and beyond. Well thought out provision for pedestrians and cyclists in our latest road improvement scheme at the A339 Cheap Street to Bear Lane. The new cycle hub at a cost of almost £500,000 at the revamped Newbury station. Our prioritisation of public transport. We have a new bus station. The upgrade of Newbury station is beginning. We're improving Newbury Racecourse Rail Station. We have advanced plans to better Theale, Mortimer and Pangbourne stations. And we support public transport operations too, including services provided by our expert in-house team and in partnership with parishes and private community providers. And as well as providing such sustainable infrastructure, we work hard across the council to inspire people to get active and use these facilities, especially promoting healthy habits in our young people through working with schools. And a report in the Reading Chronicle last September, based on figures from government, demonstrated that our efforts are getting results, as West Berkshire came out as the top Berkshire authority for residents' walking and cycling activity. So we have a very good record here in West Berkshire. However, Councillor Clifford wishes to be very clear. Giving priority to cycling, pedestrian and people using public transport does not mean we ignore the needs of people who choose or have to drive private vehicles. We invest a huge amount in our road network in West Berkshire, as our residents would expect us to, and it is a source of pride to us that during the 4-year term of this council, we will fulfil our manifesto promise to resurface a full 145 miles of our road network. So to sum up, NICE is right, and we could have written its advice ourselves, according to Councillor. But we are not zealots, we're practical, balanced and realistic administration that will continue to invest in developing and maintaining infrastructure for all our residents, however they choose to travel. That includes cyclists, pedestrians, bus and train passengers, and yes, motorists too. Do you have a supplementary?
moving on now to question N, Jason Braidwood. Oh, sorry, John Stewart, sorry. We go on to residential developments, none, as it's covered by the National Planning Policy Framework, paragraphs 151, 152, 153 and 154. However, with regard to non-residential development, policy CS15, Sustainable Construction and Energy Efficiency for the 2012 West Berkshire Strategy still applies. This requires all new non-residential developments to be BREEAM excellent, and that major development shall be from 2019 zero carbon. This is, of course, unless it can be demonstrated that such provision is not technically or economically viable. Do you much? So if we move on to question I, Dr. Wintrop. If you'd like to ask the question standing in your name, Dr. Wintrop, that would be